Hi all, welcome back to another episode of Says the Vet. Just a fun one for today, but from a medical perspective, the benefits of playgrounds for your goats. Now, if you have goats, you'll know how much they love to jump and climb on things, as they say. If they don't eat it, they'll jump on it. But I'm going to run down some of the key reasons playgrounds are actually really important for goats, physically as well as psychologically. This could be the unexpected answer to some of your goat woes. See you in a sec. Hi guys, thanks for checking back in for Says the Vet. I'm Dr Sez. Hey, before we jump in, if you appreciate the videos, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the emblem, thumbs up. Let me know that you're there. All right, let's jump in. Well, goats were domesticated about 10,000 years ago in the Middle East originally. As you can imagine, not a ton of easy pasture around, so they evolved to get to food in any way they could. They have evolved to climb and jump, and this is very natural behaviour for a goat. Many goat species will really thrive on mountainous terrain, and virtually all are able to do so. They're very comfortable on rocks, steep cliffs, and many people know this. Even simply eating by standing up on their back legs can take up to about 10% of their time during the day in some breeds and even more in others. So no one really argues what a wild goat wants to do. The question is, what medical and psychological benefits are there to fulfilling these natural behaviours, and how do we see them go downhill when they do not have the option to do so? Hopefully this will help you design the perfect playground to give them everything they need. So firstly, hoof health, and this one might not come as a surprise to you. While all ruminants do have two toes, so sheep and cattle as well, goat toes are particularly flexible. Compare them to that of a cow, for example, and you'll see what a distinct difference there is. Again, this reflects their adaptation to rocky, uneven surfaces, and more than this, we now know that dry, rocky surfaces are actually beneficial to hoof health. Goat hooves in general grow faster than other ruminants because they're trying to counteract being worn down all the time on an abrasive rocky surface. So if you don't offer them these rough, elevated surfaces to bounce around on, you will be needing to trim much more often, which can lead to potential issues in itself: cherry toe, sole bruising, incorrect hoof shape, and certainly issues if not trimmed enough: abscesses, joint strain, foot rot. Research into milking goats kept in rocky alpine environments revealed soft but solid soles to their feet and toes that resembled feet that had been perfectly trimmed very recently, despite the fact that they actually had not had a trim in about 5 or 6 months. In contrast, studies looking at feral goats that were in an island environment saw about 20% death across just 2 years due to foot issues from overgrowth. So let them do it themselves on the high rocks and top them up with a trim when necessary. I actually have some clients that run their goats down concrete driveways every evening to get that natural abrasion happening. You do get that abrasive surface doing this, but really it's the jumping and the climbing and maneuvering sideways along the tops of rocks, which is what keeps the shape perfect. Secondly, prevention of foot rot. If your goats suffer from foot rot, as most do, this could be the key for them as well. Keeping their feet up out of the wet by offering elevated surfaces makes a massive difference to those nasty bacteria which want to flourish down in the wet ground. During those warm, wet months when foot rot is running rampant, we definitely see goats preferring to hang out up on something dry. And weak pastins. Muscle groups in the goat, particularly in the hind limb, have obviously evolved to adapt to climbing and navigating uneven surfaces. So their coordination, their balance is fantastic. Now in domestic goats, we see a condition called weak pastins, sometimes genetic, running in families, but sometimes we see it in milking does as well that have had multiple pregnancies. Now there has not been any work on this that I know of, so this is only my own speculation, but I highly suspect that offering inclined ground and uneven surfaces to climb would undoubtedly help strengthen up those tendons. It certainly does give the muscles a workout. Those studies have been done. Of course, even in goats not predisposed to weak pastins, the exercise and ability to use that incredible coordination and dexterity they've been given is only ever going to be a good thing.
Creating kind of a high environment where also they can run the length of it and they're forced to be agile to do it can really be a good way to take, if you happen to buy adults and you are trying to help them how to learn not to be a pasture goat anymore, and if you're buying babies, giving them something to train with literally every day because they'll play on it. So you can see I did a couple of things. If we start over here, these are set at an angle so they're not flat. And the reason I've done that, when the goats actually stand on these, they're kind of slippery. They actually have to keep correcting. When they fall and slip and catch themselves, that's the agility.
All right, here's one that you may well not know. Did you know that goats will naturally use caves in a really big way for sleeping, to avoid predators, even to get out of the rain or the sun, even out of a natural environment? Studies in milking goat herds show that they will use caves a lot when offered to them, especially in the afternoon, to shield themselves from the hot afternoon sun. And this helps to drop their stress levels as well. Even if they are well protected from weather, say they're housed indoors, individual caves or small huts are still used, presumably as a way of self-isolating, taking a little bit of me time, a little R&R from the other goats. Evidence actually suggests that this behaviour is so hardwired that even in the absence of weather extremities, no predators or bullies around, they will still rest in caves. So offering multiple small huts as part of your playground can lower physical and psychological stress on these guys, giving them a sense of security, comfort and escape from bullies in the hierarchy, or even just from overbearing young socialites. Just beware of the material that you use for these huts. Wood is a great one. The full-on iron huts can really heat up like a furnace in the sun though, and this is absolutely the opposite of what they want or need. Okay, perceived safety. Now this is more of a mental benefit for them. Goats are browsers. They are prey animals, and they are constantly aware of their surroundings. Definitely where's the fun, but also where's the threats? Where could a predator be emerging from? Now, just in the same way that sheep, when moved, they always want to run uphill to gain a vantage point over their predator and be able to visualize the threat, goats too want to be up high. They'll often rest on the highest point. This gives them a sense of security so they can relax knowing that they can see all around them. Elevated platforms are really important in playgrounds, so add those in.
Here's another laying platform, and then again, I just put these big stumps.
And here's another one that you probably don't know. Did you know that cattle prefer to lie on something soft, as we'd expect? But in the same studies run with goats, they're the complete opposite. Given the option, they will choose to urinate on the soft wood chips, eat or ignore the hay, and lie on hard surfaces, rocks, wood, even metal. As I say, hay even is down there with wood chips as their least preferred surface to lie on. Of course, they need to have hay at all times to eat. So again, really important to offer these elevated dry platforms for their comfort. Okay, and this last one is so cool. I wanted to leave it to the end because I just love them to bits and I wanted to end on a cool note. Everyone knows how curious and playful goats are, right? Especially if you've had one or interacted with one. Their reputation precedes them. But let's talk cognitive ability. How smart are they and how much they love and need puzzles? Don't even get me started on social intelligence. Their social interactions and verbal communications are incredibly complex. They can recognize the bleat of a goat kid separated a year earlier. But let's talk pure cognitive ability. Because they've had to adapt to harsh environments, their attention to detail, memory retention, problem-solving ability is really second to none when it comes to other grazing animals, and in some ways only rivaled by primates. They can lump together similar symbols, make generalizations about shapes. They can even call the odd one out that doesn't belong in a group. And these are tasks that were for a long time thought to be quite specific to primates. They excel, they don't just succeed, they excel at multi-step tasks, lifting and shifting levers in the right order to get a reward. And what's even more incredible and important here is that they will do these puzzles and persist in the absence of any reward, telling us that it is the mental stimulation, it is the puzzle that thrills them, it is the puzzle, the brain teaser that's the reward. So saying that they're playful is an understatement. No playground is too intricate, so get creative. They will love you for it. Okay guys, I'm gonna leave it there. If you have built some playgrounds or if you've got one coming up, I would love to see them. Post your links in the description box down below so everyone can glean some ideas from you. Cheers guys, I'll see you for the next one. Bye bye.